Hey everybody, Mr. B here. I want a quick video that can help you with multiplying by numbers that are greater than or less than 1. Meaning, all proper fractions, they're worth less than 1. All proper fractions are less than 1. 3/4, 1/2, 7/8, 999 out of 1,000. They all equal something less than 1. We don't have all 4 out of 4. We don't have all 2 out of 2, all 8 out of 8, or all 1,000 out of 1,000. So those are all worth something less than 1. If you multiply any number times one of these proper fractions, you're going to get an answer that's less than that same number you started with because the proper fraction is less than 1. Think about that for a second. In order for you to get the same number over here when you multiply, this would have to be 1. Since all proper fractions are less than 1, you're going to get an answer less than what you started with. Likewise, improper fractions and mixed numbers are worth more than 1. 12/7 is more than 7/7, which would be 1. 2 3/4 is more than 1 because you have a whole number of 2 here and some extra. 999 out of 981, you've got more than your denominator. 26 5/6, 10/3. Those are all equaling something greater than 1. So likewise, any number times a mixed number or an improper fraction are going to be greater than the same number you started with because an improper fraction and a mixed number are greater than 1 themselves. If they were equal to 1, you would have something over here that equals what you started with. But because those are greater than 1, your answer will be greater than what you started with. So that's the main idea behind multiplying times fractions or times decimals or times mixed numbers or improper fractions. So let's take a look at some examples that we did in class today. For example, which one of these symbols makes this true? Well, again, look at what you're multiplying by. I'm multiplying 5 by 8/9. 8/9 is not 1. It's almost 1, but it's not 1. If this was 5 times 1, it would be equal to 1. Since this is less than 1, I will get less than what I started with, so less than the original 5 I started with. Here's the proof of that. 5/1 is the same thing as 5, and 5/1 times 8/9, multiply straight across, 40 straight across, 9. That's 40/9. 40/9 is just 40 divided by 9, so 40 divided by 9. 9 goes into 40 4 times, that's 36. Subtract and I have 4 left over. There's my 4 and my 4/9. 4 and 4/9, which is less than 5. Okay? A lot of thinking goes into these questions that we have answered today. Students have this whole front of the page with 6 examples that we talked through in depth. A lot of hard thinking questions that we talked through in depth. They are well prepared to finish some of this homework. I want to show you another question that we talked about, number 16. I specifically gave students areas to work out their thoughts on this sheet, and in number 16 you can see that's what I did. Answer choices are nothing but distractions. If you don't show work and try to work this out, the answer choices are nothing more than a distraction. This said Sam made an initial deposit of $320 to his savings account. In June, he made a deposit that was 3/2 his initial deposit. So I've listed some things here. Here's his initial deposit, $320. Here's what he did in June. He did 3/2 of 320. When you're trying to find part of a total, we change the of to multiplication because that's what you do. When you need part of a total, when you need a fractional part of a total, you multiply to get that. So in June, he was looking for 3/2 of his initial, which was 320. We read a little further and we find out that in July, his deposit was 5/6 of his initial. So in July, 5/6 of 320. Well, to solve this question, that's the information I need to get down on the paper so that I can see what's going on. It says which most accurately compares Sam's deposits in June and July to his initial deposits. So you're going to figure out something for June and compare it to the initial. You're going to figure out something for July and compare it to the initial. And that's what we've done here. Okay? Since you're multiplying this initial deposit by a number that is greater than 1, because this is an improper fraction, you don't have 2 out of 2, you have more than 2 out of 2. So that means this value is more than 1. You're going to get an answer that's greater than the initial deposit. Just think, if this was 1, you would have the same deposit, but that's not 1, it's more than 1. So you're going to get more than the initial deposit, which means you're going to increase it. In July, they only had 5/6 of 320. So not all 6/6, not enough to equal the initial deposit. It was less than, this is less than 1, so you're going to have less than your 1 whole initial deposit, which is less than 320, so a decrease. Now you can look at answer choices after you've got your thoughts out on the page. I'm asking students not to be those kids that just bubble away. When I go through, I'm looking for accuracy, I'm looking for things that make sense. I'm going to read through these. There was an increase in June, yes, and a decrease in July, yes. I've probably found the correct answer right there just by comparing my notes to what that says. There was a decrease in June. No, that's incorrect. And July. Well, there was in July, but not in June, so that makes it false. There was a decrease in June and an increase in July. No, it's actually the opposite of that, so both of those statements are wrong. And there was an increase in June, true, but not in July. So that makes that answer choice not correct. This is not a difficult question to answer if you're putting your thoughts out on the page. If you are reading this and just picking an answer choice, you got a 25% chance of being correct, and that's not going to work, and it's not going to make you feel successful as far as being a good strategy and the grades that you want to get. If you try to answer a question like this without putting some things down on the page, your chances for success are going to go way, way down. We need to be showing work. I know there's quite a few questions here. Students complained that that's a lot of homework for one night. The bottom line is they need to be able to do this, and the only way they're going to be able to do this is with practice. And every once in a while I will send home a little bit more homework than usual. And so tonight I'm asking them to finish these questions. I've given them 6 out of 20 that I've done for them. And then if they watch this video, they're going to get another 1 out of 20. So out of 20 questions, we've done 7 together. And I don't feel like 13 questions is a lot. It's probably the exact amount of practice that they need. So good luck tonight, and I hope this video helps. Thanks.